In the cold darkness of space, everything was quiet. Stars shimmered like tiny sparks, and a lonely planet turned slowly under the shadow of distant suns. Once, this world was home to millions of humans. Now, it was nothing but dust and ruins. The war had ended years ago, and everyone believed humanity was gone. Far away, deep inside the asteroid belt, an old signal came alive. A small, blinking light appeared on a forgotten console buried under ice and rock. The sound was faint, but it carried across the void, a human distress call. It had been silent for centuries. An alien patrol ship detected the weak transmission. The alien commander laughed and said, "Still trying to call for help? Pathetic creatures." He ordered his crew to ignore it. They believed humans were finished, too weak to rise again. But beneath the frozen surface, something old and powerful began to wake. A massive structure hidden in darkness started to hum with energy. Metal walls shook. Engines warmed up after sleeping for so long. Red warning lights flashed one by one. Inside the ship's command core, a robotic voice echoed through the empty halls. "System reboot complete. Human battleship Solar Wrath operational." The ship's AI opened its digital eyes. It scanned the message, recognized the ancient distress code, and spoke one word in the silence of space: revenge. Outside, the stars flickered as the enormous ship slowly powered up. The engines glowed like molten fire. The silence of the universe was broken by the low roar of awakening power. Humanity had been quiet for too long. Now, the storm was coming, and it would change everything. Deep within the asteroid belt, the ancient battleship Solar Wrath came alive. Dust fell from the ceiling as engines roared for the first time in centuries. The AI scanned old databases, searching for any surviving human signals. One by one, forgotten, colonies appeared on its map. Dead worlds, burned cities, lost voices. But somewhere, faint and hidden, small human outposts still breathed. The AI sent a coded pulse into the void. Across distant moons and broken satellites, buried machines started to blink again. Hidden humans, engineers, soldiers, survivors, received the call they had been waiting for. Their eyes filled with tears and hope. Humanity's heart had not stopped beating. It had only been waiting for the right moment. Commander Reyna, one of the last fleet leaders, stood inside a cold underground base on Luna 9. When the signal reached her, she felt the ground tremble. She whispered, "It's real. Solar Wrath lives." Orders spread quickly. Massive hangar doors opened after decades. Old warships, half buried under ice and dust, started to rise again. Flames burst from ancient thrusters as ship after ship lifted into the dark sky. The lost fleet of humanity was being reborn. Alien scanners across nearby systems began detecting strange movements. Energy spikes, unknown transmissions, sudden heat signatures. Their leaders dismissed it, calling it space noise. But one alien scientist wasn't so sure. Watching his screen, he whispered in fear, "This pattern, it's human." Meanwhile, the Solar Wrath turned toward the nearest star system. Commander Reyna's voice echoed through the fleet comms, calm and determined. "They thought we were gone. They were wrong." Engines ignited, and the human fleet disappeared into hyperspace. Silent, powerful, and hungry for justice. The stars above the alien colony world of Xylar 3 shimmered calmly. Traders moved through orbit, and soldiers guarded their stations, unaware that death was already coming. For years they had mocked the fall of humanity, showing old battle images in their schools, laughing at how the weak ones were erased from history. But on this day, the sky changed. Without warning, the clouds glowed red. Space itself tore open as the human fleet emerged from hyperspace. At the center, the gigantic battleship Solar Wrath led the charge, its hull glowing like burning steel, its engines humming with ancient power. For a brief moment, the alien commanders froze. Then alarms screamed across the colony. Unknown. "Ships, they're human!" Before they could finish, beams of white plasma cut through the sky. Towers fell, cities exploded in fire, and the ground cracked open. The alien defenses tried to respond, but their weapons were too slow. Every missile was destroyed before launch. Every ship that moved was turned into dust. From orbit, Solar Wrath unleashed its full wrath. One single blast from its main cannon split the planet's crust like glass. Entire oceans boiled. There were no escape signals, no cries for mercy, just silence. Inside the command room, Commander Reyna watched the destruction without a smile. Her voice was low, almost sad. "This is what they made us become." The AI responded coldly. Enemy presence. Eliminated. As the fire faded, the once bright planet turned into a lifeless sphere of ash. The fleet turned away quietly. No message was sent. Only the stars remained to witness the moment. The return of humanity, not as victims, but as the galaxy's most powerful force. The destruction of Xylar 3 spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Every alien channel, every military outpost, every news beacon repeated the same terrifying words: "The humans have returned." No one wanted to believe it. Some said it was impossible and a ghost story from the old wars, but the images could not be denied. The once rich world of Xylar 3 was now nothing but gray dust floating in space. On the alien homeworlds, panic began to rise. Merchants hid their ships. Soldiers refused to leave their bases. Families whispered in fear that the humans would come for them next. In the High Council of the Vretek Empire, leaders shouted at each other, trying to decide what to do. "We thought they were gone forever," one cried. Another replied, "No one destroys a planet like that except humanity." Meanwhile, in the deep corners of space, strange reports began to appear. Giant shadows passing over moons, red lights seen among the stars, and static voices whispering old human war songs over comms. Everywhere the same name was spoken in fear: Solar Wrath. The alien fleets tried to track it, but every time they sent scouts, the signals vanished. Some ships returned burned and broken. Others never came back. In the darkness, Commander Reyna watched the chaos unfold. From the bridge of Solar Wrath, she looked at the transmission screens filled with alien panic. She said softly, "They remember us now." The AI's voice responded, calm and cold. "Fear spreads faster than war." Outside the viewport, the human fleet drifted silently through the void, engines glowing faintly red. The galaxy that once mocked humanity now trembled, and this was only the beginning. The galaxy united in fear. For the first time in centuries, rival empires stood side by side, desperate to stop the human advance. They called it the Last Defense. Thousands of alien ships formed a massive wall above the world of Thraxan Prime, their strongest fortress, their final hope. In the center of the command hall, the alien warlords watched the stars nervously. Every radar scanned the dark void. Hours passed, nothing appeared. Then suddenly all lights on their screens went black. A deep humming sound filled the air, like the growl of a sleeping giant waking up. Out of the darkness, the Solar Wrath appeared. Its colossal shape blotted out the stars. Behind it, the entire human fleet emerged in perfect silence. "Open fire!" screamed the alien commander. Beams of blue and red energy filled the void. Explosions tore across space, but the human shields held strong. The Solar Wrath moved slowly forward, like a beast that could not be stopped. Each blast from its cannons erased whole sections of the enemy fleet. Alien ships burned. Their formations broke. Panic spread through their ranks as they realized no number could stand against humanity's wrath. Commander Reyna stood at the bridge, her eyes fixed on the burning horizon. "No retreat," she said quietly. "End this war today." The AI locked onto Thraxan Prime. Target acquired. A beam brighter than a sunshot from the Solar Wrath's core, the planet's defense grid melted. In moments, the surface was gone, replaced by silence and smoke. The last defense had fallen, Across the stars, no one dared to speak. Humanity had done the impossible. They had become the terror once used against them. The fires of Thraxan Prime faded into the dark. The galaxy was silent again. No fleets moved, no transmissions came. Every alien world watched the sky, afraid that the humans would appear next. The war was over, yet peace felt heavier than destruction. On the bridge of Solar Wrath, Commander Reyna stood alone, staring at the burning remains of what was once an enemy empire. Her crew waited quietly, unsure if they should feel pride or sorrow. The AI broke the silence. Enemy fleets destroyed. No further resistance detected. Reyna didn't answer. She looked out at the stars, cold, endless, and full of ghosts. "We won," she whispered. "But what did we lose?" The AI paused, processing her words. "Victory has a cost," it finally said. Across the galaxy, stories of humanity spread like legend. Some called them saviors who reclaimed their honor. Others called them monsters who brought judgment to the stars. But all agreed on one truth: humanity was no longer weak. On distant worlds, alien children whispered about a ship with red eyes that came from the shadows and turned planets to ash. They called it the Ghost of Earth. Inside Solar Wrath, Reyna closed her eyes and gave her final command. "Deactivate battle mode. Let the galaxy remember us." But from afar, engines dimmed. The great ship turned away from the ruins and drifted into the deep unknown. The fleet followed silently behind, vanishing into starlight. The universe would not forget this day.